On the other side of the equation, though, the New Orleans Saints, they were about 10 seconds away, thinking it was they who were headed to the next step. Instead, the Saints spent today cleaning out their lockers and preparing for the offseason. No loss, especially when you get to this point in the postseason, is easy, clearly. But as we talk panic or patience once again, it's especially hard, gentlemen, when it comes in the final seconds and so unexpectedly. I mean, it's almost like they had it and it was just grabbed, just taken away. So panic or patience, New Orleans can get over this loss.
Oh, I think patience. New Orleans will be fine. I'm going to say patience. I don't know that you ever really get over a loss like that, but I think they're. I mean, they have 4 guys on the all-rookie team. We just had that up, right? I mean, the future is bright. Now we assume a couple things. We assume that Drew Brees is coming back, and he's indicated as much. His contract will void, and they'll have to do something new with him. But as long as he's the quarterback next year, I don't see any reason that we should not imagine the Saints as a contender going forward. Sean Payton's been there a long time, has dealt with a lot of things. I'm sure that this will be a big part of the story next training camp, but I think the Saints will be fine in terms of their ability to contend.
They won't get over it, and they shouldn't, but they'll get beyond it. So I'm counseling patience here. And you don't get over a playoff loss like this ever. You remember it when you're 75 years old. So the bottom line is that they will get beyond it. And this is really a good team. And as to Marcus Williams, kudos to one of the great people in this country, Steve Gleason, for standing up for a fellow Saint. He's, as we know, suffering from ALS.
Just tremendous person. And I got to tell you, too, Marcus Williams, for his part, has handled this beautifully. He stood up. He answered questions at a very difficult time. He was emotional, but he took ownership. And really, Lewis, if you were counseling a young player how to handle a tough spot like this, I don't know that you could have done it much better. Once the play was made, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, you can't.
That's a different argument.
Yeah, you can't really run from it. You try and explain what your thinking was. I mean, he was trying to prevent a pass interference penalty in that situation. And it's hard. I mean, those situations happen so fast, and they're such high-pressure situations. You just feel for the kid. You just wish it would have turned out better for him. But speaking to the bigger picture about the Saints, you know, Drew Brees' situation notwithstanding, which Dan alluded to, this is a team that has tremendous, really consistency and continuity coming back in 2018. Both coordinators are going to be back. The head coach will be back. You got to take care of the quarterback. But look, I mean, the offensive line is solid. The running game is in great hands. The passing game is in great hands. On defense, they got pass rushers. They may need some more help at linebacker. Got tremendous secondary play. The future is very bright for this football team going forward, without a doubt.
And as to Marcus Williams, don't forget that we teach them, ever since the new rules have come in, lower your strike zone. And they're also taught in this position, do not interfere. Do not create a situation where they get a free play. So he was making the play he was taught to make. He just didn't make it. It's life. That happens.
And it just happened to be on a pretty big stage. Which Mike Triplett, our reporter in New Orleans, was there today as the Saints were packing up and moving out. Here's more from Mike.
Drew Brees promised to take all the drama out of his pending free agency, Wendy. He said he doesn't plan to talk to any other teams, and he doesn't even plan to let these talks drag out until the start of the new league year on March 14th. Now, 2 days into the offseason is a little too early to start talking contract, but Brees said he feels the same way now that he felt 2 days ago and that he felt 12 years ago. He'll be here as long as the Saints will have him. The rest of Brees is focused, though, on a day where he said he's still feeling the sting of that playoff loss to Minnesota, is trying to get back there. Now, this is a young team that exceeded expectations, and the future looks really bright, but Brees said he knows from experience that nothing is guaranteed.
Success is dependent upon your willingness to work and the way that guys care about one another and the sense of urgency. And so while I think that we do have a talented team, I know that each year you have to go out and you have to prove it. And so do I feel like this team has what it takes? Yes, I do. So I do feel like there's a window of opportunity here.
A lot to do in this offseason. We've got a lot of work to do and a lot of areas we've got to address. So I think I would just say we'll see. You know, there's nothing promised.
Sean Payton was even stronger later when he said there's no such thing as a utopia, and not everything is perfect. They're going to make sure they look at every area of this organization this offseason to make sure they don't make the same kind of mistakes in free agency and the draft that they made leading up to their 3 straight 7-9 seasons the last 3 years. But Payton did have a little moment of levity when he was talking about why he wants to get back to that Super Bowl. He said it's like when you have that great meal, you see that great show, and then you just can't wait to bring someone else in and share it with them. There's not a lot of people left from that 2009 Super Bowl team. He wants to experience it with this group.